Good afternoon, folks. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. My name is Omer Ahern Jr., and I am the District 3 Grafton County Commissioner. And this is my periodic report to the folks here in Grafton County, and specifically District 3, which encompasses most of the towns in southeastern Grafton County. Primarily, the towns from Warren, Campton, down to Bristol, Alexandria, Canaan, Grafton, and of course Plymouth, Hebron, and Holderness. And I appreciate, again, the folks at the Pemmy Baker TV public access channel for giving me this opportunity to talk with you. With this public media, I think it's a good way for me to get out and talk with the folks here in Grafton County about what's going on in their county government. And the county operations are all pretty much carried out up in North Haverhill, Woodsville, New Hampshire at the county complex on the Dartmouth College Highway up there, where we have the county nursing home, 135-bed skilled care facility, the nursing home. We have the County Department of Corrections, which is a 150-bed facility built about 6 years ago, state-of-the-art, and that's a 150-bed facility where we house male and female inmates, also known as residents of the Department of Corrections, and they are incarcerated through the Superior Court and the Circuit Courts, as the case may be. Also, the Department of Corrections is the county jail, which will incarcerate folks who have been charged with a crime but not yet found guilty, and they're held there until they're bailed out or until their trial is over. Of course, we have the Superior Courthouse up there at the Grafton County complex, and we also have the Grafton County Farm and Woodlands operation up there. We have a 78 herd dairy operation up there, and I want to talk about that in another minute or so. But as one of 3 county commissioners, we are responsible for the operation and the maintenance and basically the care of the nursing home, the jail and house of correction, and the buildings that are up there. And we're also in charge of the operation and management of the farm operation, which, as I said, I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. County government has been with us since probably the 1870s. They kind of took over after the town farms went out of style for whatever reasons. And by state law, by state statute, Grafton County is obligated to provide a nursing home and skilled care for the residents that cannot take care of themselves, cannot necessarily afford to go into a private nursing home. But we have that 135-bed facility up there where we have Medicare patients, veterans, Medicaid residents, and we also have private pay residents. And that income is not necessarily enough to provide all of the services that we are required by state law, federal law, and state and federal rules and regulations. And with the plethora and the panoply of federal rules and regulations that are coming down on the county nursing facilities, the cost of care is just getting out of control. And what's happening is it's these burdensome, onerous rules and regulations are ending up costing the taxpayers more money. Ultimately, government gets its money to do whatever it does from the taxpayers. Even grants from the federal government, that's all ultimately taxpayer money. And yesterday was tax day. Young lady here at the PBTV reminded me that yesterday was, the day that we had to have all of our taxes in. And so government does not come inexpensively. And again, it's the taxpayers and the people that pay for our federal government and what it does, and our state government and our local government. And elections have consequences. The other part of the county operations in Grafton County that is mandated by state statute is the operation of the Department of Corrections. Again, as I said, we have a 150-bed facility there, and we need to provide safe incarceration to protect the safety of our citizens here in Grafton County, and that's what the jail provides. The third component, major component of our Grafton County operations is our farm, our dairy farm and our gardens, and we also have 750 acres of woodlands. Jim Frone is the county forester. He's an employee of UNH Cooperative Extension, but he maintains and keeps an eye on and takes care of our forestry operations up there, because ultimately when we do a timber cut, the money that comes from the harvest, the timber harvest, is used to offset some of the expenses at the county home. We also have other county officials, constitutional officials. The High Sheriff of Grafton County is Douglas Dutile from North Haverhill. He is the county sheriff, the High Sheriff, and he helps provide law enforcement within the county. His office provides security for the courthouse and also provides civil service. When legal documents need to be served, his office provides that. We also have the county attorney's office up there. Laura Sappho is the county attorney for Grafton County, and her job is to prosecute cases in the Superior Court, and she has also spread out and branched out and is providing assistant county attorneys to various communities within Grafton County to help them in the prosecution of criminal cases in the circuit courts. Circuit Court up in Littleton, the Circuit Court over in North Haverhill, the Circuit Court here in Plymouth. And that's another constitutional office. Then the other office that is housed up there in Grafton County complex in Woodsville, North Haverhill, is the Register of Deeds. Register of Deeds is Kelly Monahan. And her office, believe it or not, the Registry of Deeds is the one part of county government that actually makes money for the county. Her office, through recording fees and transfer stamps whenever real estate changes hands, a portion of that money stays within Grafton County. So she's able to run her office and pay the employees and all of the computer stuff that needs to be done there in this age of computers. And she still brings in a pretty good chunk of money to help offset the county operations. The county commissioners met yesterday, April 17th. The county administrator, Julie Libby, is away on vacation, but we still had a meeting yesterday, and at that meeting we met with Nancy Bishop, the Human Services Administrator, and she made her report. She is responsible for collecting money from folks within the towns for which the county provides any types of services, mainly nursing home services. And she also monitors the amounts of money that the State of New Hampshire Division of Health and Human Services charges the counties under the Medicaid rules and regulations, which are very complex. And Nancy makes sure that the county does get reimbursed appropriately under the formula that's in place, that the federal government pays a portion, the state government pays a portion, and the county government pays a portion. So Nancy Bishop is a one-person department up there at Grafton County, and she does a tremendous job for the Grafton County taxpayers. And one of the things that she, in addition to the payments that she's receiving and trying to make sure that we get the money for, there is some legislation out there, HB 1816, which talks about the Part 2 of the Medicaid, Medicare Managed Care program, and we're trying to keep that from going into place because step one of the managed care program just ended up costing a lot more money to the taxpayers than what was represented to us about 4 years ago when they first started talking about that. So in the legislature is some legislation to hold off doing step two of this managed care with the intent of trying to put together a alternative program. And the County Association, New Hampshire Association of Counties, is working together to try to come up with an alternative plan where we can provide these services for our older folks, try to keep them at home as long as we can, rather than have them go to the nursing home, because it's a lot more expensive to care for someone in a nursing home than it is to care for them at home. So we really appreciate the work that Nancy Bishop does for us as the administrator of the Human Services Department up there. The next person that came and made a report was Jim Oakes from the Maintenance Department. Mr. Oakes is the maintenance superintendent, and he gives us quite a detailed report, which is this multi-page report here. The big project that's going to start up there beginning April 30th is the Force Main Sewer Project. Basically going to replace all of the sewer lines at the county complex up there. Right now, that is going to cost the taxpayers just about $275,000 or a little bit less. And that project is going to start on April 30th, and it should be completed by June 1st. And so he and his staff provide maintenance in the county complex, including the courthouse, the nursing home, the kitchen in the nursing home, the administrative building, the Department of Corrections, where we have a lot of problems with the HVAC systems, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. Even though it's a brand new facility there in the last 6 years, there's just a lot of issues with regard to all of this high-tech equipment that is there. So he and his crew are providing preventative maintenance. They're looking at the sprinkler systems. In the Department of Corrections, there was an issue with the hood fire suppression system in the kitchen there, emergency lighting. And then in the farm buildings there's some issues with the water line there because of the harsh environment that it's in. Some of the pipes are just rusting away, rotting out. And then we have the biomass plant up there, which is a very wonderful operation that we have up there. We're able to use local resources, wood chips, in order to heat most of the buildings up there. So we're not using anywhere near as much foreign oil to heat the nursing home building, the farm building, the maintenance buildings, and the courthouse. We now have that biomass plant. And Mr. Oakes was talking with us also about his budget and the things that he needs in his budget in order to meet all of this work that he needs to do to keep the buildings safe and in compliance, not only with the myriad of rules and regulations from the Department of Health and Human Services, from the federal government and the state government, but just common sense things that Jim does. So he's a good man, and we appreciate the good work that Jim Oakes and his maintenance crew does up there. The third department head that came in and talked with us yesterday was Karen Clough, the Human Resources Director, and she came in to talk with us, and I've mentioned this three times before, what work she has been doing with the department heads and talking with the employees, both unionized and non-union employees, how we're going to deal with the health insurance rates that we have been quoted. And she came in and talking with us about the quotes that we have received, and based upon her discussion with us, yes, the two quotes are significantly less than the 41.67% that we were facing back in January of this year. However, the recommendation for one health insurance company from the Human Resource Director is a little bit higher than another quote that we got from another insurance provider, and so we asked her to go back and crunch the numbers. Again, there's things like deductibles and co-pays and other things, pharmaceutical purchases for our retired employees. We have about 103 retired employees who are on the county health insurance program, as well as we don't have every one of our employees. We employ about 500 to 508 employees in the House of Correction, the nursing home, maintenance, administration, and the farm operation. So in order to really work on the budget, final budget numbers, we need to know some hard and fast figures with regard to health insurance. And so she wasn't able to give us all of those figures when she was in yesterday. So we've asked her to go back and bring us some new figures next week. Some good news from my point of view is the award that was recently, second set of awards that was recently noted about our dairy farm, our dairy operation up there. We received a letter from John H. Meyer, the Chief Executive Officer of the Holstein Association USA, Inc., which has its home office down in Brattleboro, Vermont. And this letter is addressed to Mr. Don Kimball, who is the farm manager. And I'd like to read this to you. It may be boring to you, but to me, the Grafton County Farm, in my mind, is an integral part of the operation of Grafton County because it brings in money. When the price of milk is good, which it isn't right now, we're down under $16 a hundredweight. But earlier this year, we were getting over $18 a hundredweight. But that farm, when we sell our milk and we raise vegetables and sell the vegetables and we sell the eggs from the chickens that are there and we sell the little piglets, that all brings in income to the farm. And properly managed, that farm should be bringing in, or at least paying for itself. Again, an important aspect of the farm is that it provides work for the inmates in the House of Correction, and that is another whole wonderful opportunity for those inmates to learn how to work, and maybe if they learn how to plant some gardens and work with cattle, milking cattle and working with the pigs and chickens, maybe when they are released from incarceration, they can go home and maybe provide better for their families there in terms of food and nutritious food. So here's the letter. Dear Don, congratulations. You are among an elite group of Holstein Association USA members who have been selected to receive the 2017 Herd of Excellence Award for the Small Herd Size Division. Awards are given in the following herd size ranges, and we're in the small range, 10 to 99 cows. The medium range is 100 to 499 cows, and the large range is 500 plus cows, based on the number of cows included in herd production averages. So only the cows that are actually milked are included in this. So we have about, I think we have close to 200 overall animals in our Holstein herd up there at Grafton County. So the criteria for this recognition include the herd's milk, protein, and butter fat, mature equivalent, called an ME, production, which must exceed the year's breed average by 25%. So that's good. The cows completing lactation during the year must have an average age adjusted classification score of 83 or higher for the year. The herd must be enrolled in the TriStar Production Records Program. At least 70% of the animals in the herd must be homebred, which we do. About 100%, almost 100% of our milking cows are homebred there. And the herd owner must be a member in good standing of the Holstein Association USA. So our herd's qualifying statistics. The mature equivalent of milk was 35,483 pounds. The mature equivalent fat was 1,392, and the mature equivalent for protein was 1,086 pounds. The average age adjusted classification score is 83.5, and we have 100% of homebred cattle. As one of those honored as a herd of excellence, you will receive a special award plaque, be featured in local, state, and national media releases, and will be included in the spring 2018 issue of the Pulse. Your herd will also be recognized during the Holstein Association USA's annual meeting in Acme, Michigan, July 2nd through the 3rd, 2018. So this is quite an honor, and one of the things that this is important is because of the genetic work that our herdsman, Ben White, has been doing with our farm. He's been improving the genetics. So when we do sell excess dairy cattle from our herd operation, we're making a lot better money on those animals than what we were making even 6 years ago. So I'm very proud of the work that Ben White is doing, and certainly Donnie Kimball, the farm manager, who has given us notice that he'll be retiring at the end of calendar year 2018, and Brian Tillotson, who is the farm worker there. These three men, with the help of the inmates, basically run our farm operation. So we're very pleased that we have those folks working there at the farm. But I would hope that after before the end of this year, we will be looking for a new farm manager, and that position will be advertised. It'll be advertised in-house first, and then put out into the public market for looking for a new herdsman, a new farm manager for our farm. To me, it's very important that this farm operation continue to be a very viable and important part of our Grafton County operations up there. So that is, in essence, my report. Again, the big item that's hanging over our necks is the preparation of the budget. We have had just some incredible proposed increases in the budget from alternative sentencing, from the county attorney's office, from the nursing home, from the maintenance department, from the information technology department. I've mentioned all of these things to you, even from the farm. The farm wants a new used pickup truck. They want a new hay wagon and a new tractor. And we're going to be looking at those things very, very closely. The other item that is overlooking this whole thing when it comes to 508 employees is the step increases that we're contractually bound to follow, working with the union, working with the employee council, and the COLA, the cost of living adjustments. I do have a fact sheet from the Social Security Administration, and the cost of living index increase that was effective as of January 1st, 2018 is 2.0%. Now, I'm not sure that the county can afford to make that, but I'm not saying one way or the other what's going to happen. But again, for the folks that are taxpayers here in Grafton County that receive Social Security or are on SSI, the cost of living adjustment affects them as well, because by federal mandate, the purpose of the cost of living adjustment is to ensure that the purchasing power of Social Security and supplemental security income benefits is not eroded by inflation. So yes, we need to treat our employees that work for Grafton County, and there's between 500 and 508 of those employees, and how our taxpayers are going to be burdened with this budget. Again, governments don't get their money except from the taxpayers. And again, even when we get grant money, that's ultimately money coming from our taxpayers. So I'm trying to be very, very careful, I don't want to say miserly, but we have a very important operation to run up there, a nursing home where our older folks' lives, have to be, make sure that we take good care of them up there in that facility. And we're responsible for the care and incarceration of inmates, for the public safety of the people in our county, as well as the myriad of things that need to be done to provide the infrastructure up there through the maintenance department, through information technology, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to this. And again, I want to thank the other two commissioners that I serve with, Commissioner Wendy Piper from Enfield. She serves the towns of Hanover, Lebanon, and Enfield, and she's the District 1 Commissioner. She's also the clerk of the County Commissioners for Grafton County. Also want to thank Commissioner Linda Lauer of Bath, who is the chairman of the County Commissioners. She serves the towns in the northern and western part of Grafton County. So I just can't tell you enough how glad, how blessed we are to have the employees up there at Grafton County. And if you have any questions of me, any concerns about the budget, concerns about social service agencies getting funding from our county budget, please give me a call. My office number is in Wentworth, 764-6024, and my email address is omer.ahern.jr, the @gmail.com. Again, omer.ahern.jr@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve you as your Grafton County Commissioner, and let me know if you have any questions. And have a good spring. We're getting into the springtime, I hope. And God bless the state of New Hampshire, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you, and take care.